summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, don't you know, my darling? I said it right now, and the cotton is high. Like a your daddy is a rich girl, and your mommy's good looking, yeah. So hush, little baby, don't you cry.
The Pixar movie Cars 2 is based on the premise that in their universe, every single person that exists also exists as a car. They see the car queen of England, car queen Elizabeth II, which means that there was a car Princess Diana who crashed herself. Was there a car Prince Andrew who's into little Hot Wheels cars?
One of these mornings come, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you spread your little wings, and take to the sky. La, 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 la. That morning come, baby, there's nothing gonna harm you, girl. With the mommy and the daddy standing by. Yeah.
Speak now to our correspondent Gary O'Donoghue, who's in Minneapolis. And Gary, all eyes on this case.
But then polychronic societies center around relationships,
community,
absolutely.
and culture.
So then if
This is the culture shock I felt with living in Sri Lanka and then coming back to Australia.
100%. This is the thing that explains
There's
everything.
so much
you've ever
room
been.
for like spontaneity in Sri Lanka.
Time is
loving. Guys, there's this girl on another table that's like fully been listening to us, and she's like,
No, I love it.
No,
No,
it's
Stop. But when I,
You're welcome to like join in. That's crazy.
But yeah,
time is driven by corporations, if you think about it, and organizations.
And the Gregorian calendar.
Exactly, and it's not. None of it is real. It is only being created by this patriarchal view set, and also this way of like governments controlling our bodies and our times, our actions, our movements, and where we put our directions and our intentions, and basing it and trying to create that we don't have time, that we need to live within this 9-to-5 experience.
And it's also the fact that
that's part of breaking the matrix.
It's also the fact that we think that time is linear, but actually if you zoom past the fourth dimension,
it doesn't exist at all.
Time being linear.
But relationships exist, so centering your life around relationships can exist. But centering it around time, it doesn't
induces anxiety.
It's capitalism. It's just like, well, okay, we're going to pay for time, but work for time.
What you want to do is derivative from passion or intention.
Exactly.
You want to go and have a wine just randomly because it exists in that moment, and you don't rid yourself as no, I can't have a glass of wine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because it doesn't make sense.
It's like we have this experience for relationships, but then you have immigrants and other people coming from places that are polychronic, but at the very least, that country is polychronic so they can see eye to eye.
The other day I saw a post that said, I miss when the worst thing my president did was wear a tan suit. And I was like, I know they're not talking about Obama. You know, the guy who bombed 7 countries at once. The guy who bombed Libya without congressional approval, leading to the slave markets we see there today. The guy who between 2009 and 2016 sent Israel $20 billion and promised before leaving office in 2016 another $30 billion over the next 10 years. Israel even boasted in 2016 that the US footed the bill for most of the production costs of the Iron Dome. He also increased the immigration enforcement budget every year he was in office. He expanded the US surveillance state. He left Flint, Michigan hanging. He failed to get Guantanamo closed. And he's the only Nobel Peace Prize winner to have bombed another Nobel Peace Prize winner. He bombed a Doctors Without Borders hospital in 2015 in Afghanistan. And some would argue that his biggest accomplishment was healthcare tied to your employer. And if you're thinking, so what? The man built a shrine to himself. Well, the construction of the Obama Center raised local rents, further pushing out black residents, the people that got him where he needed to be. Barack Obama is simply a war criminal with very good PR, very good style, and a good taste in music. And I'll be the first one to admit, I drank the Obama Kool-Aid for a very long time. Then my frontal lobe developed. This black faces in high places thing shouldn't be fooling anyone anymore. It is certainly not fooling me. Anyway. One of the many cameras I pass every day. I call it surveillance state of mind. He's a war criminal.
I have this theory that the realest person in the room will eventually clash with the most liked person. Let me know if this makes sense. People who keep it real, they do not like to perform. They're all about authenticity, being yourself, and most importantly, speaking the truth. In a nutshell, that means they see through nonsense. Now, the most liked person in the room, or the most popular, they're either setting the expectations for what they want other people to perform, or they are the performer themselves. And obviously, it depends on the environment. Over time, the person that is real will start to see through the nonsense, and all of the performative nature will start to bother them. So they speak up about things that just don't make sense. The person who's the performer, they're going to fight to maintain that system because they're prospering in it. And that performer, they're going to start to see the real person as a threat that doesn't allow the system to function as it should. There's eventually a big clash between whichever one of them can't take it anymore, and here's how it goes. The person that keeps it real, they have power in the tongue, so they're going to use their realness to their advantage. They have the power of the mind, whereas the performer, they have social power. They use the power of the system to come down on the person that keeps it real, i.e. turning everyone against that real person. And that's why when you walk into the environment after this transpires, you see the real person by themselves and you see the performer surrounded by people. And if you don't know these dynamics, you'll join the system and not the person that sees what's wrong with it.
P. Diddy may be in jail, but the Epstein class freak-off parties are still going strong. It's a big club and we ain't in it. Doesn't matter who it is, if it's a musician, an athlete, an actor, or a freaking porn star. They all serve the same master. The host of the party, Michael Rubin, or should I say Rubenstein, hanging out with Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart. He's again with his 2 puppets, Jay-Z and Tom Brady. Nothing to see here, just Alicia Keys making a very normal hand gesture. So that's how Lil Baby got his name. Michael Rubin was just whispering that in his ear all night. Let's not forget Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. They gotta show up and support Michael Rubenstein, their Jewish brother. People's favorite rappers are nothing more than sellouts. We got DJ Calorie, Gay-Z, and Sloppy Joe. Even Donkey from Shrek and the Slender Man are paying homage to Michael Rubenstein. I wonder who runs the NBA. Oh. Of course they're going to invite Palm Beach Pete just to troll us more.
Thanks for having me. This party's going to be lit!
Remember, while most of us struggle to pay for basic things like food, water, shelter, the Epstein class billionaires just continue to party. Let's wake up.
sediment samples, we're going to dig 6 to 8 inches under the surface level and then fill them in these vials. So about a month or two ago, I came down here and collected samples from the beach, from the end of their spraying into upstream. We also did this for the Santa Ana River. We tried to get those samples tested. We took them to 9 independent laboratories. All 9 refused to test our samples. 2 of them even cited Orange County and that their contracts would be at risk. So we found more labs and we're still gonna get these samples tested. So the reason we're testing the sediment and on addition to the water is glyphosate or Roundup. Once it's sprayed, it binds to organic material. It doesn't like to stay in the water. So it immediately binds to any plant life or even then rocks, sediment, dead vegetation, and gets sucked into the soil. So water tests will miss glyphosate and its degradative products. So this is the end of San Juan Creek. This is the river coming down and then the opening to Doheny Beach. So what the county does is they spray glyphosate over every single surface of this creek. Native, non-native, no bird studies, no endangered species studies, but they do a blanket herbicide kill all. We're testing at the very end of their spray site to see what's all accumulated down here.
If you type in Jews and pornography, you get the Al Goldstein quote.
See, I saw that quote and didn't believe it. It was so shocking to me, I had to Google it.
He said, Jews are in pornography because Christ sucks. Yeah. That's what he said.
Yeah, he just totally just shat on Christians and basically just screw over America and Christ. And I couldn't believe it when I saw the quote. Well, you know they use porn and for warfare in Gaza. They'll flood it on their TVs against their will. That's demonic. Who's going to flood children and stuff with porn? Like, just such demonic people.
Well, what it proves is that pornography is not free speech. It's warfare. Pornography is psychological warfare.
I think it needs to be pulled off online at least. I think maybe if like it was hard to get, it wouldn't be such a problem. But kids having unlimited access to it, that's a problem.
And that was my first time hearing about crazy stuff, which I did not believe at all. It was.
What do you mean crazy stuff?
They came back, and I'll never forget this. Andre's more street.
Right.
Kevin was more. He wasn't as street, and he was more the representative and talking where they go. Yeah, I'll never forget Andre going, Yo, Hollywood, y'all don't wanna know what we saw. And Kevin would laugh, and we're like, what happened? They go, yeah, we went out there to see if we can get on, a network rather than syndication and broadening and all this. And they said, we got invited to all these parties because we're the new producers from Harlem, and everyone was opening the door. The black community was open, this community was open. And he goes, and we saw, and they named 3 superstars. One that I'm a huge, I part of the reason me getting into it was
this person.
Yeah. And I don't want to say their names, but they said, we saw them chicken hawking. And everyone else around me, the black guys are all like, oh, come on, what is chicken hawking?
Yeah,
and they're laughing at me like, Jim's white, he don't know what chicken hawking is. Like, what's chicken hawking? And they said, that's when they go get boys and dress them up as little girls. And I went, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so? I don't believe you one bit. And like, and Andre be like, yo, Jim, you my bro, I wouldn't lie to you. Like, yo, I'm still traumatized. And I went, so-and-so, so-and-so, and so. I think it was only 2-3 years later, one of them was caught. It got swept on the rug real quick, and then they found a second career just as big. The other one still is probably one of the major icon running a lot of California, a sports team. And then you look at the kids that they have and you're like,
craziness. Wow.
Holy crow.
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction.
It's weird. It's weird. The whole thing's weird. The choice of outfit is weird. Crawling on all fours in an outfit like this is weird. The whole thing's weird. And I don't care if this is your favorite pop star. You can't defend this. Cannot defend this. Look at it. People are rightly upset. right, in the age of Epstein files, to see Olivia Rodrigo running around in see-through baby doll dresses with her panties and her boobs showing. And that's probably because those people who are upset, like me, know the history of baby doll dresses, which the secret is kind of in the name, right? Baby doll dress, a dress that's designed to look like a dress that's put on the plastic infant toy of a child. And for millennials and Gen Xers and boomers, it's pretty obvious, right? It's pretty obvious because we grew up with Shirley Temple. Actually, when I was a kid, some people called these Shirley Temple dresses. And what was it Shirley Temple said was happening to her again when she was dressed like this?
I went to MGM for one picture. Thank goodness, only one. And when I got there with my mother, we were separated. She went into the office of Louis B. Mayer, and I went into the office of Arthur Freed. And he was going to talk to me about a movie he wanted to put me in. I'm 12 years old, you know. And I thought he was a producer, but instead he was an exhibitor. And I'd never seen anyone naked before, except myself. So I had no clue about what was happening.
Right. So why would you want to reference that? Why would you want to pay homage to that? But it gets worse, because it turns out that baby doll dresses were made super famous, super popular. The name got coined after the 1956 movie Baby Doll, which is about a 19-year-old virgin married to a middle-aged alcoholic who abuses her and makes her sleep in a crib. There's a picture of his 19-year-old bride sleeping in a crib before he beats her. She ran around in these outfits, and then when the movie became really controversial, the dress blew up and suddenly baby doll dresses were a trend. Because of this movie, about the exploitation and abuse of a teenager. So if you want to support Olivia Rodrigo or any other artist doing this, fine, but stop pretending that it's anything other than what it is.
To be an anarchist is not to respect authority?
No, I think to be an anarchist is to be critical of authority and to always examine
where authority is just by definition.
Well, no, to always examine authority critically to see if it's legitimate.
Yeah.
And I think there are forms of authority that are legitimate, but you don't worship authority as a thing in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, I like the notion of self-subverting authority. I think there are certain types of authority which undermine their own basis, and I think those are very good, like a teacher. If you're a teacher and you teach someone very well, they know what you used to know, so there's no further basis for your authority. The relationship subverts its basis.
Yeah.
But if you're a doctor and you cure someone, you no longer have any reason to have authority over that person. So I think that structures of hierarchy, if you give people complete impunity and power over others, it creates a psychological dynamic which is almost sadomasochistic. What I think anarchists have problems with are relationships where one person is always subordinate.
Well, how about always in authority?
Well, the two are two sides of the same coin.
I thought so, but I just wanted to express it the other way.
This is history repeating itself with advertising psych medications to women. Let's compare it with some ads from the 60s and 70s.
Black history that you weren't taught in school. You likely know what Jim Crow was, but who was Jim Crow? How did he even get this name? Well, this man is actually this guy. It all starts with Thomas D. Rice, who was a playwright and performer. His most famous act by far was dressing up in blackface as a black man with exaggerated features and performing a song and dance called Jump Jim Crow. This act went mega viral, basically launching minstrel shows, which is where white men would dress up in blackface and make fun of black people by acting lazy, dumb, cowardly, all these different stereotypes. And in those shows, Jump Jim Crow was by far the most famous act. But how did it get the name? Well, back in the 1700s, racists referred to black people as crows, and it's not really certain why. And black men were usually referred to as boy or Jim. Basically this general name meant to depersonalize them. Just, hey, you all get the same name because you're all the same to us. I also used to wonder, why do they stand in this weird way? Well, the reason behind that is actually pretty dark. It actually came from the slaves themselves. See, they would notice the way that their owners and white elites would dance in this sort of posh, bougie, very formal, rigid way, and they would do the dance among themselves, sort of mocking their owners. The slave owners, getting a kick out of this, would often invite the slaves inside during parties to perform this dance for entertainment. They'd even have them compete against each other to see who did it the best, not knowing that the slaves were mocking them. Anyway, the winner of this competition would be awarded a cake, which is believed to be where the term "that takes the cake" or cakewalk comes from. So anyway, Jim Crow was not a real person, and the reason the racist laws got this name is likely just out of convenience. Two things that demeaned black people. Follow if you learned something.
Most white people don't like black people. Now that's a statement that really riled up some of my friends on Facebook. I saw it in a comment section about the tragic accident, homicide of Nolan Wells. A black commenter said, most white people don't like black people, and a lot of my white liberal friends seemed very upset. They felt like that white people were being mischaracterized, that stereotypes were being applied to people unfairly because all the people in their social circle like black people, and they voted for Kamala Harris and they voted for Barack Obama. Listen, there's a shit ton of white people in this country that voted for Barack Obama and voted for Kamala Harris and have black friends that still don't like black people. Let me explain to you white people, because I know all the black people in here watching already know this, don't you? So for the white people that have hung on this long, let me give you an explanation. You can't like black people and never spend time in black spaces. You can't like black people and never take time to learn about black culture or adjust how you speak to black people so that you are being polite within the confines of their customs, their culture. You can't like black people and not know a single black person's birthday. You can't like black people and never invite a black person into your family gatherings or to come over for the holidays. You can't like black people and never have been in one of your black friends' houses. You can't like black people and leave your only black friend on an island out in the middle of the ocean to catch a ride with someone else on an island full of white people without his cell phone.
What was that about?
I thought you was gonna steal my food.
I'm not fucking black. I'm not fucking black. I'm not gonna take your shit.
They're trying to box me in. They boxed me in, guys. They're trying to intimidate me. Don't shoot me! Don't shoot me, guys. Look, he's trying to shoot me. Guys, they're trying to shoot me, guys. Look, they're trying to draw guns on me. Guys, they're trying to... Guys, help me, guys. Stop! You're fucking scaring me! I am a citizen! I'm a citizen! I'm a citizen! I'm a fucking citizen!
This happened 6 months ago. You see how he never ever took his hand off of the trigger. I put my car in park the moment I realized they were boxing me in. They knew I was alone, they knew I was a citizen, and now they are killing my people. Last Monday, I woke up and I found out that they had taken the life, this own government had taken the life of a brother. This morning, we wake up and they did it again. This is not normal. This is not okay.
We've been getting paid the whole time, and I've never seen $1.
Oh yeah, you don't like deserve to be paid. I thought we kind of went over that. You're the drummer, so like the drummer shouldn't be paid because you don't even need to like learn any notes or anything. You're just like hitting a stick to like a drum.
I disagree. I think it's drums is like any other instrument.
I think you're just like doing it for the joy of it, and you know, like you're brown.
What do you mean I'm brown? It's racist as hell.
No, I mean it's more just like cultural. Like I don't know if you've seen in the news recently, but like DE&I is over, and we're trying to like kind of as America get brown people like even out of the country.
How am I DEI? I'm just the drummer. Wait, you've not been paying me because I'm brown or because I'm a drummer?
Exactly, like kind of both. It's kind of like, we know like your people are able to do these things without, like, you didn't need any practice. So.
Right. My people? That's not a thing.
Brown-skinned people inherently have a skill to read rhythm and play drums.
I can't believe this is happening.
You can pretend it's meant to be, but you can't stay away from me. I can still hear you making that sound, taking me down, rolling underground. You can pretend that it was me, but no. Oh, baby, I'm playing on you tonight. Hunt you down, eat you alive, just like animals, animals, like animals most. And maybe you think that you can hide. I can smell your scent from miles, just like animals, animals, like animals.
Okay, I'm so glad I saw this video because this is extremely fucking important for everything I've ever said on this app. When I told y'all, right, I grew up around everybody. I have no problem with people on the surface, right? But when you talking about how you motherfuckers want me to ignore all the fucking races in your group just to focus on you because you not racist. Do you see how many fucking white people walked past that nigga before that one white girl finally took the picture off that nigga? That should tell you a lot.
You might like to hang around with him. You might think he's funny. You might think that they're entertaining. You might enjoy their company. You might be courteous to them. You might be polite to them, but you don't like them if you're not willing to learn about them, if you're not willing to spend time in places that aren't white spaces with black people. That's a hard truth, but it is a truth. And I know a lot of you that are white liberals, white allies, think that what we're talking about is stopping lynchings and making sure people have a right to vote, or ending gerrymandering, or letting Colin Kaepernick take a knee, or getting justice for Breonna Taylor, or any number of other people who have been wrongfully killed by the police or persecuted, or celebrating Juneteenth. But that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about a toxic virus that is white supremacy that infiltrates every part of our culture. It is so deeply ingrained in American culture that even within the black community, there is colorism and there is white supremacy. Every single person on here that's watching that is black is nodding their head, I guarantee you, when I say that, because they know people in their community that do things that support white supremacy. We have a council person right here in Mobile who used the term black on black crime to talk about an incident between two black people during Mardi Gras. Black on black crime. A black council person in Mobile used that phrase, used the language of white supremacy out loud, and let themselves be quoted in the biggest publication in this state, AL.com. White supremacy, we are infested with it. It is not enough that you don't use the N-word when you sing along to your hip-hop songs, and that you repost every time a black person is wrongfully killed by the cops. You need to be having conversations with your friends. You need to be talking about deeper, next-level things in terms of white supremacy. You need to be teaching your children how to handle having a black friend, and teach them that they don't fucking leave them alone on an island 10 miles out in the ocean without their cell phone.
Always take it personal, because at this age, people know exactly what they're doing. It's too late for, maybe they didn't mean it like that. They meant it. Only children make mistakes. Adults make decisions. People will say, that's just how they are. Cool. This is how I am. I don't let anything slide when everything is intentional. I'm not reacting personally. I'm not disappearing intentionally. My silence becomes the conversation. My absence becomes your closure. Because if I have to question your tone, your words, your whole personality every time we speak, you're not worth the stress. So yeah, always take it personal. Worst case, you protect your peace. Best case, you gain a piece you didn't even know you were missing.
Hey Jim, how do emotionally immature people distort reality?
There are a lot of ways that this happens. One of the main ways is through what we think of as affective realism, where the person interprets life based on how they feel in the moment, not on what the facts are. They can distort your reality by denying, dismissing, distorting anything that you think, say, or feel, anything that contradicts their emotions. And they do it through constant invalidation, letting you know that your thoughts and your feelings don't make sense. So they might dismiss your viewpoint, anything that challenges their feelings. They do it through their own egocentrism, where it's all about their needs and their feelings, not others. They do it through having limited empathy. They don't understand and don't have any intention of relating to your emotions. And this is often what leads to the real distress of feeling totally unseen, unheard. They tend not to have deep emotional connections and tend to have more superficial interactions. And they distort reality through their very rigid black and white thinking. They tend to oversimplify very complex issues. They have short, sweet answers to complex issues. And if you bring something up outside of that, they're like, why are you making this a big deal? They also do that through something we call confabulation. They make stuff up, and then they start to believe their made-up memories are true. Confabulation is also something that happens in dementia and other forms of mental illness.
This is actually disturbing. Watch this.
This is called sub-soccer. I've been watching it nearly every day for weeks. Not because it's thrilling, it's not, but because of this guy with the orange shoes. He played in a game on April 3rd, then another the next morning, and another right after that. While he scored dozens of goals, I never once saw him celebrate. Because he's not playing to win. Neither are these people playing cricket, basketball, volleyball, water polo, tennis, and table tennis. 5-on-5, 4-on-4, 3-on-3, and 2-on-2 soccer. These so-called frostball players aren't playing to win, nor are the guys playing whatever you call this. They're playing on fake teams with familiar names, in anonymous buildings without spectators, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, solely to give people like you and me something to gamble on. These are sports betting farms.
We're at the point in society where sports betting and gambling has started to permeate back into the real world, to where now people are creating real world things to be doing based off of the demand that there is for placing bets online. And this didn't come out of nowhere. This is something that has been developing for many years. These are the types of things that you see when society is on the verge of complete and utter collapse. People have nothing else to do with their time and their money than to gamble. And this isn't because that they're doing well. No, this is because people are desperate. They're trying to find a way out of their situation. And these are the links at which they're going to, not only as the people participating in the sports, but also the people obviously who are sitting back and betting on this as a way to try to make money, when in reality, these platforms are all set up to extract all of that money that they have left away. This is not going away. This is going to get bigger and bigger, and that is exactly why we created No Dice, to serve as a community and a place where we can create a counter force against all of this manipulation that's being done, especially to young men and young people who are just trying to find a way to survive.
Countries with the most missing children: Italy, 21,951 missing children each year. South Korea, 25,690 to missing children each year. Russia, 45,000 missing children each year. Canada, 45,288 missing children each year. India, 96,000 missing children each year. Germany, 100,000 missing children each year. United Kingdom, 112,035 missing children each year. United States, 460,000 missing children each year, with 2,300 children going missing every day. What do you think is actually causing all these disappearances? Are these kids running away? Or is something far more disturbing happening behind the scenes? Are they being kidnapped? Are they being trafficked? Are there secret groups operating in the shadows, using these children for things the world doesn't want to talk about? Why do so many cases never get solved? Why do some countries have higher numbers than others? And most importantly, why aren't we seeing global outrage on the same level as other issues?
I said, so after that first time, I said, how much does it drop from the first time you're renting him out as a until the next time? Does it go down to 1,000 to 2,000? What does that go to? And the female said, oh, no, we can rent them out as a more than once. And I said, I don't understand. How does that work? She said, well, if we make between $2,000 and $5,000 each time. She said it only costs $200 to sew back their hymen. And I thought, what the hell? What kind of world do we live in where somebody would even think that? What kind of doctor would perform an operation like that on a child?
Jack Black is this individual who is like slowly became like a lead actor, right?
Yeah.
Like he's gotten more and more of these like bigger lead roles.
Which has been baffling to me.
What's interesting is like Jack Black's mother was the woman who created the guidance systems for the Apollo 13 moon mission. Yeah, so it's the guidance systems for the Apollo 13 moon mission and then the Minutemen missiles that like the US uses. So it's always these really deep connections to like military. So like when I mentioned Sabrina Carpenter, a lot of people don't know Scientology is tied in deeply with the Navy, right? And like another example, Ariana Grande, her mother is the CEO of a telecommunications company that makes the telecommunications systems for the Navy. There's another layer to it where it's like they're nepos of the like military
But it's the
industrial
military
complex.
intelligence specifically, yeah. And if it was one or two, it could be a coincidence.
This is an adrenochrome lab under a federal facility. They have been using federal facilities like FBI field offices and federal prisons and their private prisons as lily pads of operation for them to fucking drain children of their blood. Look at that fucking Marine Corps emblem right there. That was a Marine that we had to arrest. These were all federal agents and all of them dual citizens. Now, why is it that you haven't heard of these operations till now? Because we're under occupation. These are the counter-human trafficking, those were adrenochrome labs under FBI, ATF, and DEA facilities. These dual citizens have used the ATF and the DEA to profit from the war on drugs and to arm the cartels. And they are committing genocide in Mexico. And they have been committing genocide here.
Tell you what to do when you get to the point where you can't go any farther, you can't get your breath. There's two ways to neutralize this lack of oxygen in our atmosphere. We want to get rid of the radiation. This, of course, is my own interpretation. Remember, what I'm telling you is my own findings, my own interpretation, my own experience. Soda and salt will neutralize any type of radiation, usually. Your X-ray, any of it. Now the portion that you use a bath. You know, in the olden times they used to get in the bath for almost everything, and they weren't wrong, believe me, and I think we're going back to that. So you take a tub of hot water, and I mean a tub full, all it will hold. Water as hot as you can stand it comfortably. And stay in that water until it cools down to body temperature. Now the heat brings all that to the surface. And when it cools, osmotic pressure brings it out into the cooler side. You'll be surprised what that will do to level off so many of these conditions that we've been fighting to overcome. It is effective. People say, well, I tried it and I felt so much better, but I feel worse again. Sure you do. You got another exposure. You don't clean this up. You keep working with it because it's in the air, it's everywhere.
I believe this needs to be torn down. I believe we need to start again. I don't believe that we need governments and the kind of models that we have. But I am also aware that we're not going to achieve that now. You know, I can give you examples of anarchism all over the world. I know places in Asia, I know places in Africa where they see nothing of big government. They see nothing of the government at all. I was in Kenya not so long ago, and I was talking to some people there on the border, and I said to them, you know, I was doing a Radio 4 program actually, and I said, do you feel Tanzanian or Kenyan? And they went, oh, we're just here. I said, the border's there, and we cross it every day. There's no government there. They police themselves. They live relatively in harmony. They do have disputes, but they sort it out themselves. Now, I know that's going to sound crazy to a lot of people because I know they can't imagine it. But we see pockets of it all the time. When Grenfell Tower went up in flames, the government left the people alone. There was nobody there. They organised everything. They organised money. The only thing from the state that you really saw was the firefighters. You know, but in terms of organising people, getting people a bed, finding relatives and all that kind of stuff, it was anarchy, but it was beautiful anarchy.
And do you want to do anything to try and achieve that? Or do you just think it's not possible?
I'd like to have a revolution, but everybody's too busy shopping. You know, that's the culture we live in now. And I've seen it all over the world. I've seen, you know, people in China, and if they get more freedom, and what's the first thing they do? Go shopping.